also work on the role of emotions, and we take the unusual view that emotions, rather than getting in the way of clear thinking, rather than getting in the way of behaving in the way you want to, actually help you. That we have evolved an emotional system that is intelligent, that provides information, and that actually, if you pay attention to it, can be useful and adaptive as you work with your family, in social life, and particularly in leadership.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one, so then you'll have two. But stay in here and stay in the chair till I come back, okay? All right. I'm gonna go do something, and then I'll come back.
It smells yummy. It smells really good.
Leave, and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait. Either way, okay? Okay. How'd you do? Did you do good? You did? Yeah. You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So did I tell you to give you another one? Okay, now you can have both. You need them.
Today I want to talk about the basics of emotional intelligence. Very simply put, emotional intelligence is basically knowing what feels bad, what feels good, and how to get from bad to good. Now the way this is usually done is quite simple, and the more you practice it, the better you become at it. First, realize that a negative emotion is a symptom, not a problem. So suppressing, denying, or ignoring it is kind of like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. You can't see the wound anymore, but you didn't really fix anything. Most emotions are caused and or sustained by an underlying thought or belief, which may or may not be subconscious. That's one of the basics of emotional intelligence in a nutshell.
And my prescription is a healthy dose of emotional intelligence.
When I wrote the book Emotional Intelligence in 1995, I really was basing it on a newly emerged field called affective neuroscience. It was the study of brains and emotions. Now, in the last 3 or 4 years, still another new field has emerged, social neuroscience, which is the new understanding of what's going on inside our brains while we interact. So social intelligence is the interpersonal part of emotional intelligence. It's an entirely new science of human relationships.
And I found that for jobs of all kinds, basically at every level, these emotional intelligence competencies were more important in predicting who would become outstanding. Ratio was about 2 to 1. The higher you went in the organization, the more it mattered. So for top leaders, you look at a competence model of the abilities that we've identified in outstanding leaders here, 80 to 90% of them are in the emotional intelligence domain. IQ turns out to be a threshold ability. Particularly, of course, here at Google, it's explicitly so. You need to be smart enough to get in the game. Once you're in the game, however, what is it that is going to allow you to become an emergent leader? Going to allow you to become the person who is most effective? And here it turns out these other abilities start to factor in a major way. The number one competence that distinguishes stars from average is the singular drive to achieve, to improve performance, to make whatever I'm working on better, faster, quicker, more powerful, more effective. And the sign of this competence is that people who have it have very high internal standards for success.
There's hardly anything that escapes my notice. When I walk into a room, I can usually just sense if people are mad or sad or happy.
I sent you that email 2 weeks ago. You were supposed to...
Oh, that's good. Hey, you guys have lunch plans later? All right. You know, I used to struggle with empathy. Understanding how other people felt, you know. Until I realized something very important. People are pretty much just like me. So now, I just ask myself, what would I do? And, bingo. I pretty much know exactly how they're feeling.
My family is drowning in this debt. My kids are trying to go to school. We're trying to provide for them. My husband and I are constantly arguing because of money problems. It's crazy.
Man, can I relate? It reminds me of a story that happened just last week. I was downtown eating at my favorite restaurant. They brought the check and I reached around and when you know it, somebody left their wallet at the house. Oh, financial troubles. Janice, we're thinking about you.
It's Joan.
All right.
I need to talk to you about the Penske account. Now, we have a lot of work to do on this account, so I need you to be really, really focused on what we discussed last week. Now, we had a meeting with the Penske representatives 2 weeks ago. They were expecting some type of proposal last week, which we
You know, the other day at lunch, I was thinking to myself, we ought to be able to track our time with our phones.
That would be a possibility, but we really need to focus on this
You know how handy that would be?
situation because they are not...
Imagine it, out on the golf course, hitting the balls with a client. Hey, I'm with John Atkinson.
Well,
I need to clock in.
The Penske
boom,
group
boom,
needs this
boom.
information.
And I think the reason Obama won was because of his mode of handling the financial crisis. He embodied the ability to stay calm under pressure. He showed us that he could be cool in crisis. And that is an extremely important message for people because in crisis, everyone looks to the leader to get a sense of how should we be reacting. And if the leader is panicking, then why are we going to stay calm? But if the leader is calm, cool, collected, focused, and Obama was, then we feel confidence. We feel there's someone steering this ship that knows how to get us out of this trouble.
Now I think there are a lot of people that say, look, we're not going to be able to keep our best people. They're not going to stay and work here for $250,000 a year when they can go work for a hedge fund if they can find one that's still working well, and make a lot more.
Well, look, here's what I think I've told them directly, because I've heard some of this, is they need to spend a little time outside of New York. Because, you know, if you go to North Dakota, or you go to Iowa, or you go to Arkansas, where folks would be thrilled to be making $75,000 a year without a bonus, then I think they'd get a sense of why people are frustrated.
I doubt that Barack Obama has read my books, although I do know people who know him well, and they say he's always been like that. He has that capacity, and I think he's going to be a very good chief executive.
Thank you.